Boxing Beats and Rhymes has done a couple of videos touching on this topic. I also wanted to give my take on it. And that is the idea that Kell Brook is somehow cowardly because he quit against Errol Spence, and he did quit. I don't know why the British boxing pundits are trying all this semantics and all this funny business to not use the word quit. I don't get it, because that's exactly what Kell Brook did. He quit. But does that make him a coward? Does that mean he's not a warrior? In my view, similar to Boxing Beats and Rhymes, absolutely not. There are levels to bravery. If you get the bravest prize fighters in the world today, guys who have never quit, guys who have never even contemplated quitting, if you get those guys and put them in a situation where they're maybe in a no-holds-barred street fight, an organized no-holds-barred bare-knuckle fight where anything goes, eye-gouging, head-butting, biting, you could potentially get blinded, have an ear ripped off. Would they even partake in that kind of fight? Would they have the heart? And yeah, they got heart to fight in a boxing ring and never quit, with gloves on and a referee and medics and doctors at the side. Would they have the heart to go life and death in a car park or a field somewhere, unsupervised, in a no-holds-barred fight where they could get blinded or have an ear ripped off or be killed? A lot of them wouldn't. A lot of them wouldn't even be able to fight on with a detached ear. Does that mean they're cowards? I guess it's all relative, isn't it? In the arena of boxing, because it's supervised, because it's just two guys with a pair of gloves on, there's no headbutting, biting, or any of that other kind of stuff. The consensus is that quitting is simply unacceptable. It don't matter what kind of injury you've sustained. You're not allowed to quit. Well, Kell Brook potentially could have gone blind against Errol Spence, just as he could have potentially gone blind against Triple G. That's the same as getting your eye gouged out. It might not be as painful. I don't know. I've never suffered a fractured orbital, and it's definitely not as bloody, but it's essentially the same thing. Ending up with one eye, being blind in one eye. Kell Brook wasn't willing to go there. Is he a coward for that? I mean, he showed heart up until that point. It's not like he capitulated as soon as he got dropped. It's not like he capitulated as soon as he got hit with some hard shots. I mean, look at all the shots he took in the first Carson Jones fight. A hell of a lot of shots. His face was a mess after that fight. He never looked like quitting against Carson Jones. So, Kell Brook is not the bravest fighter in boxing, but he's far from the most cowardly. He's shown a lot more heart than most. So, he did quit. There's no question about it. But I don't really think he is, as I say, I certainly don't class him as a coward or anything like that, or lacking in the bravery department. He's just not willing to go as far as some other fighters out there. But Kell Brook has passed gut checks in his career before. He couldn't pass this particular gut check because it was a very, very high and very, very difficult gut check. There are levels to gut checks. There are levels to bravery. So, yeah. Just a short little video touching on what Boxing Beats and Rhymes already talked about in his videos recently about this particular topic. It is kind of ironic when you see people that have never laced up a pair of gloves in their lives calling somebody like Kell Brook a coward. But at the same time, I always do defend the consumer's right to critique the product. The fighters are a product. And the consumers have got every right to critique it. But then again, if you put your opinions out in public, whether you're a consumer or not, people have the right to critique your opinions and your character if you're doing these kind of things publicly. So that is what that is. It does kind of remind me of the old days. I mean, not that I was around, not that any of us was around during the times of the Roman Colosseum, but from what we're told about history, people were baying for blood in the stands of the Colosseum, cheering as these gladiators were tearing each other to pieces, when other people were torn to pieces by animals. Would any of those people in the crowd cheering have the heart to actually go and fight those gladiators themselves? No. But they had their favorites. They had certain gladiators that they would cheer, certain people they would boo, based upon how much bravery and fighting prowess they displayed. And it's the same in boxing. Most of the people watching ain't got the heart to take on Triple G. Even if you put a few million in front of certain people, they wouldn't do it. But they will cheer somebody who shows, unusual levels of bravery or unusual levels of skill or fighting ability. Humans are always impressed by bravery. That's just something instinctive and inherent within the heart of human beings. Bravery impresses us. As I say, there's levels to bravery, man. Kell Brook has made millions of pounds in his career. In the back of his head, he's thinking, I don't need this. I've put up a good fight here against Errol Spence. I've tried my best. But I'm damaged again in the eye. It hurts. I can't see properly. I've been told I could potentially lose an eye before because of this type of injury. I had to have an operation where they removed my eye. That can't be pleasant. How many of you would actually be willing to put yourselves in a position where you injured your eye and you had to have it removed in order to repair the eye socket? Well, he injured his eye socket, sorry. He had to have that operation where they had to remove his eyeball. Would you be willing to do that twice? I can't imagine how unpleasant it is to have such an operation. So Brook was thinking in the back of his head, I don't need this shit. I've made a lot of money. I put up a good effort tonight. I want to have 2 good eyes to retire on with my kids and whatnot. Not that he's thinking about retiring right now, although you never know. He certainly didn't indicate anything like that in the post-fight interview. But you got to think long-term in this life. You can't always live for the moment. Kell Brook was being a responsible parent to a certain extent. Better to be a parent with 2 good eyes than 1. Better to be a parent with all your faculties intact than a parent who potentially could suffer some type of brain injury. Anyway, there's some food for thought for you guys. Drop your views and opinions in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.